So welcome everybody, Emilio Garcia from Bountify. And today we are going to explore how do you create effective landing pages, especially for B2B. That will be the topic. And so I will go through the presentation. And in this case, Chris, feel free to interrupt me at any time, right? The reason I do the webinar on Zoom is because I like the interaction, right? In versus just raising the hand and putting some comments on the chat. So I'll start right away. Let me share my screen here and move to the presentation. And I think we are ready to go. There you go. So for those of you that will be seeing this video later, my name is Emilio Garcia. I'm of all the social networks, I'm most active on LinkedIn. So if you want to connect with me there, here's the QR code, and you can get this after on the presentation. I'm also putting together kind of like a live event that I will do weekly. It's through Zoom too. And there the format is in a free way. I come up with an agenda with some topics, but if there's any questions, we'll be happy to answer. So if you want to hang out there, that would be amazing. For today, the agenda is quite simple. We will dive into why you should use landing pages. What are the cases where you need them? What are the elements of a well-designed one? There are some key concepts and best practices to follow. And then we will explore how do you build one. In this case, I will use HubSpot that has a landing page builder, but there are many options out there in the market, and all of them are great. And most of them can do pretty similar things. And finally, we will dive a little bit into how do you report on them, what metrics matter for a landing page, right? Which is slightly different from a regular web page. So why should you use them? First, I will start with what is a landing page, right? And it's a kind of a website page, right? But it's designed to convert visitors into leads. So it has a different purpose from your regular web page. One of the key features of a landing page is that usually, or most of the time, it does have a form that someone or the visitor needs to fill. So that's one key difference. When you are exploring a website and you are wondering if the page that you are is a landing page or a regular web page, one key component will be, does it have a form? And if it has a form, then it's a landing page. And so how people get to landing pages, usually through something called call to action. So through your website, and I will put some examples here. Through your website, you have some buttons that are call to action, like let's talk, get a quote, or just start a conversation. And when you click those buttons on your website, you are usually sent to a landing page, and that will have a form, right? Just kind of like that it looks like. And the purpose of the landing pages is to frame an offer, right? So usually there's something called an offer. It can be something more down on the funnel, like getting a consultation or getting a quote or something like that. Or it can be something in the middle of the funnel, or top of the funnel, like getting an ebook, a guide, getting access to a webinar, like the one that we are doing right now. So it can have different kinds of offers. There's always an offer. And in theory, or this is how it's framed, is the reason that you are willing to share the information that is being asked on the form is because you want access to that offer, right, that you have there. So usually after the visitor fills the landing page, or the information on the landing page, they are sent to something called a thank you page, where they get access to the offer. They might get an email after they fill the form with the information. And usually on the thank you page, you allows them to explore again the whole website, or you put in front of them another offer that might be relevant. So you have different kind of uses for the thank you page. There are some websites that don't have an actual thank you page. It's just a thank you message, and that's the end of it. And they offer just an application. People play different plays here. Now, what happens with the information that you gather varies. Some companies just store the information and maybe they reach out directly to the prospect or the lead, if that makes sense, depending kind of the offer. And if you ask for a phone or if you ask for an email, which you usually do. Some other cases, you start a nurturing process with that information, and that nurturing process usually translate into a series of follow-up emails that you have with that person. It can be an email after they fill the form with the download or the content offer, and a few days later you follow up with more content, something from your blog or another related offer might make sense. So that's usually the reason you ask the information. Now, this is what a landing page is. What are the main elements of a well-designed one? Well, there are many elements that you can have, but for me, these are the 4 most important ones. The headline, the copy, the image, or it can be a video too, and the form. So those are the big 4 components, and let us kind of like explore each of them. So the headline is the most important part of the landing page. It's usually the text that is highlighted the most. Is usually using the HTML kind of like language, is an H1, the main header, and it's in big text, and it should convey right away what the offer is all about, right? So it should give the user a good idea in a few seconds of what is being offered, right? So this is the part usually that is tested the most when you wanna see what grabs more the attention of the visitor. You play with the headline. After the headline, usually you have some copy that complements the information. So it can be in the form of bullet points. It can be in the form of a short text. It's sometimes called a subheader. And it allows you to explain in a little bit more detail what it's all about. So if you grab the attention of your visitor, kind of like the title of an email, and they're willing to read the rest, then the description will explain that, right? Then you have the image, and it's just that. It's an image that goes, it's a visual that you can put on the page. It serves multiple purposes. First, obviously, if the offer for whatever reason is better explained with an image or a video, allows you to give another way for the user to consume the information about what the landing page is all about. The other thing that it does is that if for whatever reason you want to share that page on social media, for example, usually that image or that video will be attached to the post. So in the copy of the post, you can explain the offer, and the image will grab the attention of the user when they are scrolling through their feed. So that's the other purpose of the image. And again, it can be also just a video. So some people play with any of those 2 combinations. And finally, you have the form, right, where you make the ask. And I think I will explore this later, but the largest or the most important thing to know about forms is that my recommendation is you ask as little information as possible, but that is meaningful to you, right? For every field that you add to a form, you drop the conversion rate, if I'm not wrong, by 7%, right? Of whatever conversion rate you had in the past. So that's important. And obviously there's a battle here. If you have an offer that is so unique, that is worth more information, then go ahead and add more fields if that makes sense. But if you have something that is, readily available and the user maybe can get that information in other place too, not exactly the same, but very similar, then reduce the barrier to entry, right? Some of the recommendations that I have for forms, for example, when for whatever reason you want or you need to use a very large form with many fields, is that you break it down in steps. And so you make a person to answering some questions first and then some others later. some implementations that I have seen of this is, for example, people might say, well, I want information about where you live and I don't know, for example, the kind of car that you're driving and then the information about you. So instead of asking 10 or 12 questions, you start with 2 or 3 about your location and then 2 or 3 about the car. And finally, the information about the person itself, right? Like the name, the email, the phone number. When you break down the form that way, usually it's easier to answer non-personal questions, and you already have the user committed or they already invested some time. So they usually just finish the process because they already started. So that's a way of breaking the form. However, if you don't have, many fields, just try to get at least the name. Usually that's valuable because just with an email, there's no easy way to address the user when you send an email. So you want the name, the email, and if for whatever reason you have a formal follow-up through phone, then you might ask the phone number. Just know that just like with emails, people is reluctant to share phone numbers, and when they do, they usually, not usually, but some of them might just share a false one or one that is not really the personal one. So it depends, or it varies depending on the offer. Obviously, if you have a consultation or a quote, they would share the phone number. So ask it when it makes sense. Another good tip is try to make beyond the email and the name, all the rest of the questions multiple option instead of just open fields. That's easier to answer, especially on mobile, right? Where you don't have to type. So it's easier to just select some options from the menu. One important thing is consider hiding the navigation menu, right? Another thing that is really relevant for landing pages is that you usually hide the navigation menu and you just maybe leave the logo, and people might click to the logo if they want to visit the rest of the website. The reason is this important is because, and you will see it when we see an example, you want to make sure that the user have a clear idea of what they need to accomplish, which is fill in the form. And if you keep putting links all around, that the person will get distracted, and the chances of them completing the goal or the task, in this case, filling the form, will diminish. So consider hiding the navigation menu. There are some cases where it's okay to have it because it's just part of the flow of the website. But if not, it's not really necessary, then that will be a good thing to do. Now, what are some of the things that you should aim when you're building them? Well, explain clearly what you are offering. So that's the headline. Yeah, that's how you make sure that it's clear for the user what is the offer all about. Lay it out, like get access to the ebook, or get this free video, or get this free ebook. Then explain the benefits of the offer. That's usually where you use the copy, especially for bullet points, right? If I have the offer, but it's not clear to me why I need to have it or what are the benefits, probably I will not take advantage of it. So explain the benefits on the copy. Try to explain to the visitor what will be what will happen after, right? Are they getting the ebook right away through the thank you page, or they will get an email with the information? Some people actually, for example, to make sure that they get real data, do not offer the ebook right away. They say, wait for your inbox, or for the offer will get sent to your inbox. So they get, more users that actually put the real email. So consider that as an option. Now, let us explore how you create one. Again, for this example, I would use HubSpot, which is a marketing automation tool, and many more things now, but it happens to include a landing page builder. But the way that I'm going to build the page here is very similar to any other software tools. So in this case, I want to click on create and then select a landing page. And depending on the tool that you have, you will have different, usually themes. You will not start from scratch. So you can go to some of those themes and select some of the options. For example, here, you can see that most of them, while they have very different designs, follow very similar patterns, right? Is this, they have this, let me pick one good example here, and let's find the landing page in the preview. So for example, you can see here that they follow these best practices right away. So you have a big headline here, right? And then you have the copy explaining what this is all about. And then you have your form. And in this case, they are putting here a placeholder for either an image or a video, right? So that will be, for example, if I use this template and I'm going to create a test around it. Let's create it here. Right. So you have the headline here. You should explain all. In this case, there's a video how to maximize your workflow, and then you will replace the image with one that you have on your library or a video that you have there, and then you can edit the information about the form. Select the fields that you want to have. In this particular case, HubSpot comes with a tool that allows you to create forms, so you can select some of the forms that you have right away. And for example, this one that I have about registrations, you can set it up, and you can select the copy. Some things that you want to make sure that you cover on the back end is that you put a title, and depending on the software, it will change. But you put a title, so this will be displayed on the browser, and obviously the end of the URL and a meta description, right? So when this page indexes on Google, if you are allowing it to do so, then you will have control of where it's being shown on the page, right? So make sure you select the page title and then a meta description. And finally, if you are going to share this page on social media, make sure that you have an image that will go with the feed or to be added there. And I will put some examples here. So those are the big components for a page. I will exit this one and I just show you one that we have already built so you can see some of the elements. Let me delete this one. So we have this one that it's our offer for a consultation. So you see here, I have the headline, do you need to grow faster? And then I use the copy to explain a little bit about who we are and what we can do for you. Then we have the form. And here I'm just asking for enough information to learn about the prospect in advance, right? Their name, phone number, to call them. The website, because that's an important part of what we do, right? I go to the website and see a little bit about the company. And one thing that I want to know when I have a conversation is, what do you want to accomplish from our conversation? So I go prepare, right? And then let's talk. That's a clear call to action here. I also offer, and it's not rendering here, let me put it on the preview. I also offer just a meeting because that's our particular case. So people can do it. You see, I just have the logo. There's no navigation, right? It's just, if you want to know more about Boundify, you click on this logo and then you can explore the rest of the website. But this one is focused on getting a conversation. And you can see here in the back end, I have the title, I have a little meta description, and I have selected an image, which is not the image that comes here. So it shows properly on social media. So for example, if I go to my website and click on this call to action, this is my landing page. And if I want to share it on social media, and I'll select, for example, LinkedIn here, then it will come with a nice image that I can attach and put some copy and send people to the landing page right away, right? So that's and you test your pages. All of them should have that feature, so you can share them and the meta description too. That will be important because if Google index it, then it's going to show this portion, right? That you have here. So those are some of the elements. And those, how do you usually create one? Now, finally, what is important about them in terms of reporting? And again, this will vary from platform. What I'm showing you here is what HubSpot has, but any platform that you are building landing pages with, including WordPress, will have some way to show this information. Worst case scenario, you have to go to Google Analytics, and there you will filter for your page, the one that you are interested on, and you might be able to see some of this information if you have set up goals for tracking conversions. But in this case, for example, things that matter to me are, well, how many people are viewing the page itself, right? I might be sending traffic through this landing page through my calls to actions, through maybe some advertising campaign, or just being indexed by Google. I want to know how many people visit it. And then out of all those visits, how many people actually submit the form, right, that I have there. And if it's bringing me new contacts, right, because the same person can't submit the form twice or 3 times. And there's some, page-related metrics like bounce rate and the time that people spend on the page. Usually this is not a large number because this is very thin on content. And a lot of people will exit from here. And depending on the implementation, you will not get that many entrances. Another thing that you might want to explore is the capacity of each of your digital channels to bring traffic and also to generate conversions, right? So for example, you can see a lot of direct traffic for this one, just particular example. And therefore there are some submissions here and contacts. And you can, in this case, in HubSpot, you can edit some of the information to, for example, get a sense of your submission rate, right? Out of all the visits that you have, what percentage of people actually submit the information on the form, and how many contacts do you get there. As you can see, I have a ton of submissions and few contacts here because I use this page a lot to test ideas, right? And we fill it a lot of times. But if you have a page that is running normally, then you will explore these different channels and decide which one is being most successful for you and what you can do about it. So those are some of the metrics that you want to track, and they will allow you to get a sense of if your page is performing better than the other. The other thing that you can do is compare performance, right? If you have multiple offers, like different kind of ebooks or different kinds of webinars or something like that, and you have multiple pages, then you can compare the performance of each of them and see which are bringing more conversions and submissions. So I think that for today, that's all.